Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. In this video, we are diving into Demon Slayer Hashira Training Arc. It's a long video, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. Now let's jump into the video. Well, Hashira Training Arc begins right after the Swordsmith Village arc. In starting, we see Tanjiro waking up after being badly injured from the fight against Upper Moon Demon in Swordsmith Village. When he wakes up, he talks to another Demon Slayer about his sister Nezuko, who has just conquered the sun. Next, we see Zenitsu returning to Butterfly Mansion from a mission. He is shocked to find out that Nezuko can now walk in sunlight and even speak. Hearing Nezuko welcome him makes Zenitsu so happy that he starts thinking about marrying her. However, Nezuko says, "Welcome, Inosuke," instead of Zenitsu's name. This makes Zenitsu angry because he wanted her to say his name. Since Inosuke taught Nezuko how to speak, Zenitsu got mad and says he's going to kill Inosuke for it. On the same day, emergency Hashira meeting is called to discuss about Nezuko's safety and how to awaken Hashira's Demon Slayer marks. And in recent fight in Swordsmith Village, both Love Hashira and Mist Hashira awakened their marks. Hearing this, all other Hashira praised them for defeating 2 Upper Moon demons without any casualties. Then Amain arrives in meeting room and tells Yubashiki, their leader, is very sick, so she will lead a meeting in his place. Amain informs everyone that Yubashiki's condition is getting worse. Hearing this, all Hashira pray for his health. Then, Amain talks about Nezuko, who can now walk in sunlight, and informs them that if Demon King Muzan knows this, he will surely come after her, so they need to ensure her safety. Amain also tells Hashira about Demon Slayer marks that appeared on Love and Mist Hashira during battle in Swordsmith Village. When she asks Love Hashira to explain how she awakened her mark, Love Hashira failed to describe the process. However, Mist Hashira, Michiro, explains in detail how every Hashira can awaken their marks. Amain also tells Hashira about Tanjiro, who awakened his mark, even though he isn't a Hashira. Everyone got amazed by this news. Amain then instructs each Hashira to begin training to awaken their marks, making it compulsory for all, including Mist and Love Hashira, even though they have already awakened their marks. After Amain leaves, Water Hashira stands up to leave, thinking meeting is over, but Wind Hashira stops him and says there is something important left to discuss. This leads to a heated argument, but Stone Hashira intervenes and tells everyone to sit down. Stone Hashira proposes a training plan where each Demon Slayer trains under each Hashira in a fixed order, and even all Hashira must train with one another. Next, scene switches to Butterfly Mansion where Tanjiro receives his new sword from a swordsmith. Tanjiro is very happy because the sword contains element from Rengoku's sword. While Tanjiro is enjoying his new sword, another Demon Slayer asks him about Inosuke. In the meantime, Inosuke bursts in through a window. Tanjiro got shocked and scolds Inosuke for breaking window. Inosuke is very happy and informs Tanjiro about training program. When Tanjiro asks for details, Inosuke says he doesn't know much, but mentions a rumor about a new training program starting soon. Then we inform that after Nezuko conquered the sun, demons have stopped appearing suddenly, which suggests that demons might be planning something big. So all Hashira need to focus on night patrolling and training during day. Then a special training program called Hashira Training is initiated, where all lower-ranked Demon Slayers will be trained by each Hashira. Meanwhile, Zenitsu approaches Tanjiro in angry mood. Tanjiro tries to calm him down, but when he tells Zenitsu about new training program, Zenitsu becomes even more furious and bites Tanjiro because he is very tired as he just returned from a mission. Despite this, Tanjiro thanks Zenitsu for teaching him first form of thunder breathing, which helped him in battle against the Upper Moon Demon. This appreciation makes Zenitsu much happy that he forgets about incident of Nezuko calling Inosuke's name. Then order of Hashira training is described where it will starts with Uzui's basic stamina training, followed by the Love Hashira's flexibility, then number 3 Mist Hashira's quick movement, at number 4 Serpent Hashira's sword skill, and at number 5 Wind Hashira's infinite pounding, and at last Stone Hashira's muscle reinforcement training. However, each Hashira is doing their best to train Demon Slayers, except Water Hashira, who is not participating in the training program. After knowing about Jiu, Tanjiro goes to him and asks about the Hashira training. He requests Jiu to train with him, but Jiu refuses. Jiu explains that he is angry with Tanjiro because he didn't master water breathing, as he expected Tanjiro to become Water Hashira. Tanjiro explains that he discussed this issue with Yubashiki and mentions that changing breathing styles is not easy. Jiu insists that someone must fill the vacant Water Hashira seat, and then he says something shocking that he is not Water Hashira, which surprises Tanjiro. Next, we see a flashback showing why Tanjiro approached Jiu. Yubashiki had requested Tanjiro to talk to Jiu because everyone needed to work harder during the Hashira training. Tanjiro accepted the task to talk Jiu about training. After 4 days of persistent effort, Jiu reveals a surprising secret that he never passed selection exam. He explains that there was a boy named Sabito, whose family was killed by demon, just like his and Tanjiro's families. Sabito was the boy who trained with Tanjiro under former Water Hashira in Season 1. During selection exam, Sabito defeated every demon they encountered, but Jiu was injured by a demon. Meanwhile, Sabito saved Jiu by fighting demon. However, Sabito died in that battle, and when selection exam ended, Jiu was chosen, but he doesn't consider himself Water Hashira because he believes Sabito deserved the title. Jiu then asks Tanjiro to leave him and focus on his own training to become best. Tanjiro realizes that Jiu probably feels he should have died instead of Sabito. Listening to Gyu's story, Tanjiro recalls how Rengoku risked his life to save others when Akaza attacked on train, and he thinks he should have died instead of Rengoku. This makes both Tanjiro and Jiu very emotional, but Tanjiro still needs to convince Jiu to join training. Tanjiro tries to persuade Jiu by saying that if Sabito had defeated that demon, he would be alive now and would have joined Hashira training. This makes Jiu reconsider the Sabito incident, and he finally agrees to participate in the Hashira training. Next we see Flower Mansion, where Shinobu returns from a mission. A girl asks Shinobu if she could train her after she finishes her Hashira training. However, Shinobu replies that she will not be participating in Hashira training because she has something much more important to do. In the next scene we see Yubashiki's Crow FLIs to Tamayo, where Crow requests Tamayo to come to Yubashiki's mansion to continue her research with Shinobu and help them in defeating Muzan. Tamayo got amazed to know that demon slayers are seeking her help to defeat a demon. In next scene, Hashira training is officially started, and Tanjiro joined the training, where we see him completing his training under former sound Hashira Tengen. In just 10 days, he impressed Tengen so much and got permission to move on to the next challenge. After that, Tanjiro goes to Mist Hashira's residence, where Tanjiro has to focus is on boosting his stamina and speeding up his reflexes. And guess what? He did it again. Within 5 days, he mastered Muchiro's training and secured his ticket to the next Hashira. This guy's on fire. While we were talking about fire, the other demon hunters hadn't been lazy. They've been training really hard for 2 weeks now. And now, they're all excited to get permission for the next Hashira. Well, Tanjiro's next stop is with the love Hashira, Utsuri Kanrauji. Now, Utsuri's training is unique. Don't be fooled by the pancakes. This sweet swordsman's got a tough core. Her training focuses on flexibility and endurance, pushing the limits with non-stop dancing and intense stretching. Let's just say Tanjiro got a workout he wasn't expecting. Leaving the dance floor, Tanjiro heads straight for the serpent Hashira Obanai at Goro. Remember that creepy stare Obanai gave Tanjiro way back when? Yeah, Tanjiro's feeling the same awkward tension. Well, Obanai's training gets even crazier when he throws Tanjiro into a room filled with his fellow demon slayers, and all are tied up. And the task is to fight Obanai with his sword without injuring anyone. It's brutal, frustrating, and requires incredible focus. Obanai slices through the air with ease, but Tanjiro struggles to land a clean attack without hurting his fellows. But Tanjiro's got grit, and after 4 days of intense dodging and focus strikes, he manages to slice off a piece of Obanai's dress, which signifies the end of training. And who knew clothes cutting was part of Demon Slayer training? Then Tanjiro leaves his residence and heads to the next spot, but suddenly Zenitsu crashes into him, where Zenitsu tells him that his training's got him completely wiped out, and now he's trying to hide. But guess who's there? The wind Hashira, Sanemi Shinazugawa, appears like a storm cloud. He barks at both Tanjiro and Zenitsu to get back to training or face the consequences. Let's just say his threat involves a lot of bloodshed. Also, training with Sanemi is no joke, as it's a simple but brutal Beatdown session. Sanemi relentlessly attacks them with his sword until they either vomit or faint. And because of this, Tanjiro's face is completely swollen, and his body is aching. He's exhausted, but his eyes still hold determination. But then Genya interrupts the wind Hashira, Sanemi, with a desperate plea. But Sanemi's not a patient guy. Sanemi cuts to the chase, and he basically tells Genya he finds him annoying and doesn't believe in his brother's story. This leaves Genya visibly shaken. However, Sanemi goes even further and says, "Those who can't use breath styles have no right to be demon slayers." He basically tells Genya to quit. Tanjiro listens to the whole conversation while hiding, and he's clearly worried about Genya. But suddenly, we had a shocking revelation. Genya confesses that he's been eating demons to gain their powers and fight. This catches Sanemi completely off guard. Sanemi reacts with lightning speed, and he launches a surprise attack on Genya, who can't even see him coming. But before Sanemi can land the blow, Tanjiro steps in and stops Sanemi's attack. Zenitsu and the others got panicked when they saw Sanemi come out and think Sanemi's back for another brutal training session. But Sanemi clarifies that he's not here for more training, as he simply wants Genya to quit the demon slayers. He further says that he won't kill Genya, but if Genya doesn't quit, he'll permanently disable Genya's regeneration ability. But Tanjiro can't take it anymore. He jumps in and gets furious at Sanemi for trying to force Genya out. He reminds Sanemi that Genya was a valuable asset during the Upper Moon battle, and he will not let Sanemi hurt Genya. This made Sanemi angry, and he punched Tanjiro, which shocks everyone. But in a surprising turn, Tanjiro actually manages to block Sanemi's punch. After that, Tanjiro yells at Zenitsu and asks to take Genya out of there. Hashira gets angry and starts attacking Tanjiro, and he basically tells Tanjiro that if he wants to die so badly, he'll be happy to oblige. In the meantime, Zenitsu grabs Genya and makes a daring escape. Zenitsu throws shade at Sanemi, calling him a heartless jerk. But hey, survival comes first, right? However, Genya doesn't appreciate Zenitsu's disrespect, and then he lands a good punch on Zenitsu for bad-mouthing Hashira. It looks like, even in tense situations, there's always room for a little demon slayer violence. However, the fight between Tanjiro and Sanemi rages on, and it's a brutal clash that lasts well into the evening, and everything's a mess by the end. The training is also officially called off. Tanjiro even gets banned from approaching higher-upsy. It looks like he's in hot water with the higher-ups. After that, they leave the Sanemi residence, where Tanjiro and Zenitsu reflect on the chaos. They're both exhausted, but seeing other demon slayers enjoying peacefully by a waterfall brings a sense of normalcy back. But there is a surprise. They found that Inosuke is training with the Hashira, the mighty stone Hashira, Gyumi Himejima. Then suddenly, Gyumi calls them from behind and asks them to join his training ground. Zenitsu, ever the drama king, immediately assumes it's some kind of torture chamber, not a training ground. Then Stone Hashira orders Tanjiro and Zenitsu to start their training by standing under a waterfall, then carrying 3 logs on their shoulders, and finally end the training by pushing a big rock. Gyumi says his training is simple, as it only has 3 steps. Meanwhile, Tanjiro apologizes to Gyumi and informs him that Zenitsu has fainted. Gyumi instructs Tanjiro to throw Zenitsu in the river. Tanjiro does this, and Zenitsu wakes up shocked by the cold water, as it is midwinter. Even after getting out, Zenitsu feels freezing. The other demon slayers are hugging rocks to stay warm. So Zenitsu does the same, and says it feels like he's in his mother's arms. Tanjiro also finds the waterfall training hard, as he notices Inosuke's body is frozen due to the cold water. After reviving Inosuke, Tanjiro continues his waterfall training and realizes that the high-falling water is dangerous and can break neck bones if he relaxes his body. Nearby, a demon slayer named Murata-san reveals that he is stuck on the log training, and it has been 10 days, but he still can't complete it. After training, all the demon slayers eat together, but they got amazed to see Inosuke eating fish bones. While they eat and talking, Inosuke mentions that Stone Hashira is the strongest demon hunter. Tanjiro adds that Stone Hashira's smell is different from everyone else's. But Zenitsu, the drama king, says he doesn't believe that Stone Hashira can even move the big rock across town, as he thinks Stone Hashira is just having fun with the younger ones by including the rock task in the training process. Tanjiro smiles and says he strongly believes in Stone Hashira and trusts that he can move a rock even bigger than this. But Zenitsu jumps over Tanjiro and asks, "What's with this happy face?" Then Inosuke stood up and said he is ready to carry logs and push rocks. Tanjiro and Zenitsu also completed their waterfall and log carrying training. Now, it was time to push the rock. Tanjiro tried hard, but failed badly. Then a shocking revelation came, that Stone Hashira's training isn't compulsory, and anyone can quit if they want to. Now at night, everyone enjoyed food after the intense training. However, even after 6 days, no one had been able to move the rock. Then we see exhausted Tanjiro laying down on the ground. But suddenly, Genya appeared and told Tanjiro that the mark on his forehead had gotten bigger. Tanjiro got surprised. Then Genya explained that he was told to stay away from his brother and had also been scolded by Stone Hashira. Tanjiro and Genya sat together and talked about Tanjiro's mark. Genya mentioned he was also in rock training and he can move the rock easily. This shocked Tanjiro, as he couldn't. Genya advised Tanjiro to use repeated action movements and watch Stone Hashira closely to learn how to move the rock, or else he would fail. He explained that Stone Hashira follows a set of predetermined movements to maximize concentration and increase power. Tanjiro and Genya continued to talk. Meanwhile, a demon eyes were following a demon slayer to find the location of the demon slayer's headquarters. The demon who sent those eyes was worried, as she hadn't been able to find Nezuko, who conquered the sun. Muzan was also eager to find Nezuko and obtain her body. Back at the training ground, Genya continued explaining to Tanjiro that their anger and painful memories can increase their heart rate and temperature, which will help them reach their full potential. While Tanjiro and Genya were discussing, Stone Hashira was listening to them from behind a tree. Tanjiro followed Genya's guidance and tried again to push the rock. He thought it would be nice if he could maintain his mark forever. Then Tanjiro remembered all his past sad memories to make his heart beat faster and began his repetitive actions to move the rock. After multiple attempts, Tanjiro finally succeeded in moving the big rock. However, this shocks Zenitsu and Inosuke, as they couldn't do it. Tanjiro thought that if he stopped pushing the rock even for a moment, he'd lose all his strength and focus. Seeing Tanjiro, Inosuke also tried to move the big rock and succeeded. Now Zenitsu is the only one who hadn't done it. After moving the rock across the town, Tanjiro completed Gyomi's training. However, he fell to the ground because he was dehydrated from sweating continuously. Tanjiro thought he might die from dehydration, but Gyomi came and gave him water. Gyomi, the Stone Hashira, praised Tanjiro for completing the training and said he accepted him. Gyomi also praised Tanjiro for protecting humans in the swordsmith village over his sister and called him a true swordsman. But Tanjiro told Gyomi that he is wrong, as it was Nezuko who made him take that decision. Tanjiro said that someone always comes to help him in difficult times to make the right decision. But Tanjiro got worried about what would happen next and whether the Hashira would accept him after knowing this. But Gyomi reassured him, saying that no matter what others said, he would accept him. Then Gyomi explained a past incident where he used to take care of orphan kids in a temple. But one night, a kid disobeyed the temple rules and didn't return to the temple, after which a demon appeared in front of him. And to save himself, the boy made a deal with the demon for the lives of the 8 kids at the temple. Gyomi further tells that he always burned wisteria incense at night to keep demons away, but that boy put out all the incense to invite the demon. This led to the deaths of 4 kids immediately. However, Gyomi tried his best to protect the remaining 4 kids, but 3 ran away, leaving only 1 girl who stayed with him. Gyomi told Tanjiro that he was weak at that time, and when the demon tried to attack the girl, he grabbed the demon and punched it continuously until morning. In the morning, when people came, the situation took a turn for the worse. The girl tells them that Gyomi was a monster who had killed all the kids. Everyone blamed him for their deaths, and if Oyakata-sama had not intervened, he would have been executed. Gyomi further says that he knows that Tanjiro may have faced many difficulties, but he stays honest and never run away. Gyomi called Tanjiro a special child and promised to help him from now on so he doesn't take any wrong turns in life. Hearing this, Tanjiro became emotional and thanked Gyomi with the promise to do his best. In next scene, we see Genya thinking about Stone Hashira Gyomi. Genya thinks Gyomi is a good person. However, he remembered that once Gyomi said he wouldn't make Genya his successor because he had no talent. But when Gyomi found out Genya was eating demons, he made him his disciple. Genya tells Tanjiro that Gyomi introduced him to Shinobu-san for a checkup and treatment, but she always makes disgusted face and scolds him. Genya asks Tanjiro why he didn't tell him about Shinobu-san, since Tanjiro seems familiar with her. Tanjiro says it's not like that. If he couldn't use breathing techniques, then she would have treated him the same way. Tanjiro tells Genya not to worry because Shinobu-san must be concerned about his condition and will treat his body properly. Then, Tanjiro asks Genya to visit Gyomi after finishing his food. But Genya says he hasn't completed his stone training by moving it across the town, so he need to do it first. Then suddenly, Inosuke starts making fun of Genya for not using breathing techniques. This leads to a heated argument, where Inosuke and Genya start fighting. Tanjiro tries to calm them down. He insists Genya to come with him because he needs to talk about Genya's big brother, the Wind Hashira. The next day, Tanjiro goes to Zenitsu and asks him about the boulder training. Zenitsu says he still can't move the boulder. Then Tanjiro informs Zenitsu that he is going to the next training, and he asks Zenitsu if he is okay or not because he hasn't talked to him for a while. However, Zenitsu ignores this and wishes Tanjiro good luck for his training and asks if Tanjiro is only there to tell him what he needs to do. Tanjiro gets worried and asks Zenitsu if everything is alright and if he can help. Zenitsu thanks Tanjiro for his gesture, but he asks Tanjiro to focus on his training because he has something important he needs to do. If you don't know why Zenitsu is acting weird, then I have something to tell you. Well, it's just because of a past incident when Zenitsu received a letter about his teacher, the former Thunder Hashira named Jigoro, where the letter informed that Jigoro killed himself in a very painful way, which made Zenitsu very sad and emotional. In the next scene, we see Tanjiro thinking about Zenitsu and Nezuko while going to his next training place. He worries about Nezuko that she might be feeling lonely because she has been under someone else's care for a long time. Finally, Tanjiro arrives at the Water Hashira Gyu's house for his training, but when he enters the building, he got shocked to see the Wind Hashira and the Water Hashira are fighting with each other. Tanjiro sees that they are not just training, they are actually using their respective breathing styles and engaged in a serious battle. However, their moves are so fast that Tanjiro can't follow them. During this fight, Sanemi uses his first form of wind breathing to attack, while Gyu defends himself with his sword by his sword to get a small crack. Then Gyu uses the fourth form of water breathing to counterattack Sanemi. Sanemi attacks again using the fifth form of wind breathing, and Gyu responds with the seventh form of water breathing, piercing raindrop. These two powerful attacks cause both Gyu's and Sanemi's wooden swords to break. Sanemi then says it's time to fight with their hands and fists until death. Listening this, Tanjiro steps in and tries to stop their fight. He tells them they can't kill each other, but this makes Sanemi furious, and he shouts at Tanjiro and informs Tanjiro that he wasn't allowed to get near them. He further asks how he dared to peek in on them. Tanjiro tries to defuse the situation by suggesting they can have ohagi or something else to eat. He promised to make enough to fill their stomachs, but this only makes Sanemi angrier, and he accuses Tanjiro of making fun of him. Tanjiro apologizes and insists he's serious. Then he asks if Sanemi likes ohagi. Tanjiro explains that when he was at Sanemi's house for training, He smelled the fragrance of mochi flour and ohagi. That's why he asked about it. However, Sanemi got angry and punches Tanjiro and throws him away. When Tanjiro wakes up, Jiu tells him that Sanemi has gone somewhere in an angry mood. Tanjiro asks Jiu why they were fighting. Jiu explains it was part of the Hashira training, as every Hashira has to train with the others. Tanjiro and Jiu continue their conversation while eating ohagi. Meanwhile, Sanemi is walking away, thinking about Tanjiro. Suddenly, Sanemi swings his hand and grabs something, but wait, it's the eye of a demon that was following a demon slayers to locate their headquarters. The scene switches to Yubishiki's mansion, where it's revealed that the demons have found the demon slayer headquarters, which is Yubishiki's house. But wait, here's a turning point. Muzan is there too. Yubishiki greets Muzan by saying, "So you are here. Nice to meet you," to which Muzan replies, "Yubishiki, you look horrible." This conversation shows that Yubishiki was already aware of Muzan's arrival. The Hashira Training Arc ends here, and next will be the Infinity Castle Arc. We will start the Infinity Castle Arc in the next video, so subscribe to our channel to know the complete story in detail. Until the next video, you can check out other anime episodes on our channel.